Guess what? My favorite canceled Star Wars game might actually be coming back, but in a different form, perhaps? So since Disney obtained Lucasfilm, they've been toying with a certain idea, and that is bringing a live-action Star Wars series to television. Let's get into that. So we actually, at the TCA's entertainment president, Channing Dungey, was talking about this, and she didn't reveal very much.
I'm not giving you anything.
This has been something that's been brewing for years, the idea of making a Star Wars live-action television series with ideas that maybe we'll do a young Han Solo. That's an anthology movie. Maybe we'll do young Boba Fett. Maybe we'll do something akin to Star Wars 1313. And maybe we'll do, when they actually did do this in the 1980s, is do a series entirely about the adventures of the droids. And then there's also the idea of Star Wars Detours, which would have been done by Matt Senreich and Seth Green, and kind of like the Robot Chicken Star Wars specials, sorta. It's like, again, it's like a side story, but one with more levity.
And that would be the most awesomest thing to ever happen in the history of ever.
There is a little bit of news of what it could be, according to sources. They say a live-action series centers on the story of rival families struggling over the control of the seedy underside of the Star Wars universe and the people who live within the subterranean level and air shafts of the metropolis planet of Coruscant. A bounty hunter may be the main character. Set between the original Star Wars film trilogy and the prequels, the time period allows for all sorts of potential appearances from classic figures from the Star Wars universe. So basically exactly like Star Wars 1313, which if you watch the show, you've heard me complain about it constantly and bemoan it constantly that I wanted this video game to happen, but then LucasArts was dismantled. I went to the preview of the game and I was so happy and impressed with it, which was basically a Jedi-less Star Wars game below the levels deep near the bottom of Coruscant, where it's a hive of scum and villainy, and it does center on bounty hunters, not specifically Boba Fett, like an original new character, it seemed at the time, or at least in the preview I saw, it was two unknown faces as the main character and the main character's friend who got killed off quickly. I can't spoil that because that game is canceled. I would love to see this, I think, but then there's also this other idea. Is there too much of a good thing? I mean, we recently looked at, with Marvel as a very present example, they do have ABC series, which is probably where we'd see whatever Star Wars series would be out there. And we just looked at Agent Carter getting canceled, and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. hasn't had the most stellar numbers, and for a while they didn't have very stellar reviews. Is it too much of a good thing? Is this something more suited for maybe Netflix? I mean, we see The Defenders on Netflix with Daredevil and Jessica Jones, and now we have Iron Fist and The Punisher and Luke Cage coming up imminently, and these ones are very beloved, and they also seem to be much higher budget as well. It seems the problem with this not happening before was very budget related. So this would be a very expensive show. The estimates that I was looking at were at $5 million per episode. Do you have any idea how much that is for a series? So the only thing that came even relatively close to that in scope was Game of Thrones. However, Game of Thrones, in order to get made, some of the rights do belong to HBO to make that happen. Lucas is not willing to give up the rights, but now that Disney owns the rights, this is what makes it more seem likely to come to fruition. I don't know if it's going to happen. It looks very positively that it will. They are still in the discussions phase and the planning phase, or pre-planning even. And then I don't necessarily know if this is a great idea. It has to be executed just right, because there is a standard of quality that people look for in Star Wars live action. I mean, if you're looking at Rebels or Clone Wars, that's a whole different story. It's all CGI, so you can probably factor all kinds of things into the budget. But people have an idea of what they want, especially now where we have more reliance on practical effects along with special effects. So I tentatively say yes, but you need to really show that $5 million per episode. Audience, would you watch a Star Wars live-action TV show, and what would you want to see in it? Let us know below in the comments, and please like and subscribe for more.